Thank you for staying tuned. Our focus of the day is on the recent constituency tours by Governor Umo Eno. We'll talk about from 401 million naira grants in Eket to 260 million naira empowerment in Ikotepene. Talk about youth training admissions into Ibom in Uyo and the planned deep seaport city gate in Oran. And we ask, beyond the cash and checks, what's the vision? What's the politics, as some people would want to say? And how sustainable are these interventions for governance in the long run? That's a conversation today. We have joining us live on the program, SA to the Akwa Ibom State Governor and electronic media, Mr. Samuel Ayara, joins us live. You're welcome on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, and glad to be here, Xavier. Pretty
Thank
good
you
to be
for your
here.
time.
Thank you and welcome. Well, Governor has toured the 10 federal constituencies in Akwa Ibom, get to collecting needs documents, flagging of projects, promising the intervention in the lives of people in Akwa Ibom State, and also giving grants as much as possible. Now, a lot of people would want to know how sustainable this is, what's the vision the government is seeing. Some people also believe that it is a movement away from, government house governance to more inclusiveness of the people in the scheme of things and what the government sets out to do. Holistically now, how have you appraised the activities of Governor Moino, talking about the federal constituency tours?
Robert, you said it all. Yeah, you really said it all, and you got it right when you said it's a movement away from boardroom government house governance. That was all of the 10 federal constituencies, all of the trips around the 10 federal constituencies were government on its full throttle on the streets. It started March 8th, 2025, and was concluded
about 5 months.
Was concluded 23rd August. That took the governor around all of the state's 10 federal constituencies. But look at it this way: that was government served a la carte. That was government served with the people in mind. That was leadership served asking the people, what do you want? You walk into a restaurant in this present day, you tell them what you want, you tell them the ingredient composition of the kind of food you want. That was government taken to that dimension, and that also was democracy working on all fours. The height of inclusion, the height of participatory governance, where the citizens were allowed. You see, that this time around, the government didn't just walk to citizens to tell them, I will build a hospital here. They rather asked the citizens, what do you want? So in places where the government felt a hospital was necessary, the citizens could show up and say, no, we don't want a hospital. There's one we already have nearby. This is what we rather would want in place of a hospital. So the Arrive Town Square meetings was government working on all fours on our streets and coming to our homes, our communities, and our hamlets to actually find out how we were faring. But beyond that, let's talk about sustainability. The empowerment, we saw the distribution of the 2 billion naira traders grant. We saw the distribution of the 2 billion naira farmers grant. We saw the MSMEs. We saw the equipment support program, and all of that take the better of all of what happened in the different constituencies. And make no mistake about this, those were not for startups. Those were no empowerment for startups. Those were that was government's way of empowering and supporting existing SMEs. So you mean if you were already transacting, if you're doing business on a scale of 200,000 and government shows up to give you 500,000 to support that venture you were already probably in the years past been involved in, you close it down? No. So we are going to see in the coming months, perhaps in the coming weeks and months, trade at different volumes. Business ventures assume different volumes, and then you would see people who were trading at a certain level scale up on what they were doing. You would begin to see farmers who were who were cultivating some small portions now aspire to do something bigger. And with the MSMEs, that was quite phenomenal. Picking two entrepreneurs, two small scale entrepreneurs in each of the local government areas, 62 of them, and then having them take 5 million naira each to support their businesses. Robert, in present day Nigeria, there is no business that won't think a 5 million naira grant as an extra wins, and then I look forward to in the next weeks and months to see businesses in Akwa Ibom State fly at the highest blast.
All right, Mr. Ayara, to what extent will this move, shape the next level of governance in terms of budget preparation and probably the 2027 general elections?
Well, we're not even talking about elections now. We are not.
Because some people believe that is why they are moving to see how they can.
No, Governor Umo Eno is not about the next election. Governor Umo Eno is about the next generation. During the campaigns, he told us he was cut out for producing the next generation of millionaires. And then he is strategically achieving that already. Now let's look at what all of this will amount to in the long run. What all of this will amount to in the long run would be an Akwa Ibom where people who have been so far empowered in the magnitude Governor Umo Eno has would be able to step forward to say no. Okay, when it is time for politics, Your Excellency, we need you to continue because we still have our siblings, we still have people in our lineage, we still have people in our communities that are yet to be so blessed in the magnitude you have blessed and supported our businesses. We will not be asking Governor Umo Eno to continue in office in 2027 because we want just a governor. We will want a man who can do just the kind of things Governor Umo Eno is doing. And then look at it with the needs document. He's already given a title. He's already given a title to the 2026 budget, the People's Budget. The People's Budget, because that is going to be a budget whose frame, whose spirit and delivery would be completely centered around what the people want.
Is it going to be based on the discoveries that he has made throughout
the tours and from the needs document? And you quite would understand that when you see a government that is this committed to the people, when you see a government that is committed to the people, you quite would understand that yes, that's an administration that understands that it shouldn't be about government all the time. This is government switching the lens and allowing the people take the driver's seat.
All right, Mr. Ayara. He says he's not going to be leaving any federal constituency behind. And if we were to look at the data now, over 5.1 billion naira has been disbursed. And we want to look at the equity that is involved in this. Do you believe that the governor has been able to carry all the federal constituencies along? Or is there a risk of, some federal constituencies benefiting more as against others?
I had talked about the MSMEs, the 5 million naira support to each entrepreneurs, to 2 entrepreneurs from each of the 31 local government areas. Even the governor's local government in Surubium also got 2.
So there's equity.
There's equity. When it came to the car awards, each local government had 1. The governor's local government had 1. There's equity. When it comes to the farmers' grants, the traders' grants, it was not, those ones were not even location sensitive. Those ones were not sensitive to about where you come from. For example, if you live in Uyo and have your farm in Uyo, you can come from Oburakara and get the grant from Uyo because that's where your business venture is situated. You look at you look at the 10,000 equipment support to 2,000 entrepreneurs. Those were brought from across all of the 31 local government areas. And make no mistake about it, someone who does business in Uyo and who was supported, who was a beneficiary of that equipment support program, could be an indigene of a local government area. So there is fair balance. And then we are even talking about a government that has a portal system in place that has helped engender an era of credibility and merit in a form we've never imagined. Can you imagine, Xavier, that you walk into a place where government is doing empowerment, and then the most critical of the stakeholders around are also coming to that event to see who are the beneficiaries. They're not coming from their houses with their beneficiaries at hand. They come and then get the brochure and you get to see the interest with which they fixate on the document, because these are programs that have names of beneficiaries written in black and white with their phone contacts and business addresses. So what do you have? So a stakeholder comes in, for example, someone from Abak walks in and wants to know who from Abak is a beneficiary. And then you get to see here that some persons you actually can know and relate to. And of course, you are not National Population Commission to want to know everybody. But if you can see people you know, you then should know that those ones you don't know are also known by others. That's why you get to see all of this add up to paint a picture of fair balance and a government run on merit.
All right, still talking about balance, there are some section of society who claim they are aborigines of the APC in Akwa Ibom State, and there have been complaints about being marginalized and that are not carried along in the process, no white consultation. And how do you reconcile this to ensure that they're carried along?
The governor only joined the All Progressives Congress on June 6th. That was when the official announcement was made. But at every town square meeting in the build-up before the build-up to June 6, every town square meeting between March 8th and June 6th, when the governor was still in his former party, we saw clear testimonies of people who came out to say, oh no, I am a member of this political party. I'm not even in the governor's party, and I am captured in this scheme and initiative. Now, so for people who are crying marginalization, they got it all wrong. We've been saying it from the word go. The governor has said it and repeatedly warned, go and register on the portal. It is from the, have you not also heard of that?
Some of them claim that they've also registered.
But you would also hear of people who say, oh, we supported the governor in 2023, and now he is giving empowerment to members of the opposition party, people who opposed him. So front and back, there will always be this marginalization. But the solution to this marginalization is go and get yourself on the portal. Because some people on that portal, a lot of people on that portal don't even belong to political parties. They are neither PDP nor APC nor Labour Party or anything. But their names are there because they heeded the governor's instruction. Register here. This is where we will harvest beneficiaries of our different enterprise development programs. Make no mistake about it, it is not going to change anytime soon. And trust me, those cries for marginalization will always come from people who have chosen not to register. People who think that there will always be some background, some backyard arrangement, some coordination to have them
access or benefits from. Some of them said they have registered and that they have not been carried along.
And then this is the issue about registering and then thinking you don't just register and expect to be carried along. There's something about waiting. The governor has repeatedly said it, that no beneficiary in the current times will benefit from subsequent programs. So if you've registered, wait and know that there will always be other opportunities. We have seen there's been a lot of opportunity. We've seen people make lots of money from the home farm scheme, and there is so much money government is ready to put in the hands of the citizens. And then there is also this resolve by the governor to ensure it goes round. The reason he has time and again warned that if you've benefited at a particular point, don't expect for any reason that your name will find itself to another scheme. And he sounds it most times and in a way that would make you want to laugh. He says, go on, Befafa. Whatever you do, regardless of how you want, how much you push, once you've benefited at one point, the next would be for another person.
All right. Well, let's also talk about the concerns around employment. You remember in 2023, the NBS had released a report regarding the statistics of unemployment in Akwa Ibom State. Now, the concern is, since then till now, what feasible changes have you seen injected in the system as a result of the incoming of Governor Umo Eno, when we talk about employment of youths and engaging them effectively? Do you think that this has received some sort of robust changes currently?
Well, if you're quoting the 2023 NBS statistics, you should also be able to quote the February-March NBS statistics that readily saw a reduction in unemployment in Akwa Ibom State, putting it at 5.1%, a figure the nation's vice president, the Senator Kashim Shettima, really quite applauded during his last visit. Now, this is it. People shouldn't just hang. People shouldn't just hang the concept of employment around people working in government offices.
A point that your principal always re-echoes.
Yes, it's not about those who are working at the Donaldson Secretariat or the Dakada Secretariat. If you are doing anything that brings resources to your pocket, you are working. You are not unemployed. You're not unemployed. So what is government doing to deepen economic activities and get people more involved and active in the workplace? All of the jobs we are seeing, you would understand at the moment, there is not a single of the state's 31 local government areas where there is no active projects ongoing. So much is happening across these places, and then we are having indigents of the different various communities where these projects are cited find or earn a living from those projects, that through skilled labor, unskilled labor, and what have you. We've seen an upscale in the number of people that barely have to leave home in search of their daily bread. And in the course of that, we've seen government also commit more than a passing passion to growing entrepreneurs. And then these entrepreneurs are beginning to assume dimensions that can enable them employ extra hands to help them in their businesses. That has helped breach the gulf of unemployment. Yes, we are not there yet. No society the world over has actually been able to overcome the scourge of unemployment. But consciously, in the government's effort to ensure Akwa Ibom is one big construction, to turn the state to one big construction site, as you would see across the different projects that dot our communities and landscape, you will also see a number of people working there. And then you would that's where the statistics about providing jobs in 2 years for over 30,000 people came from. And when you confront the government agencies that came up with that statistics, they'll bring it up, and you get to understand, yes, of the truth, that when government gives a job to gives a construction job to a contractor A, there is always a part of that deal that will allow that contractor get back to government to say, okay, at this stage, this is the number of people I have had to work with. At this stage, I needed more workers, so I employed this number, and all of that. We are seeing a duplication of job opportunities here and there. And of course, even from the portal system, we're even seeing organizations go there, employ people, and all of that. This all adds up to the bigger picture. And trust me, we may not be where we aspire to be, but definitely you would see that with even the recent intention to add another 3,000 people to the active civil service, public service workforce, I'm sure that we are further thinning out the unemployment.
Let's look at the Ibaka Deep Sea Port project, which the governor says there's the plans are underway to ensure that the city gate is constructed probably next year. What does this signal?
What that signals is a renewed and energized ambition to achieve the Ibom Deep Seaport project. You see, for a project of that magnitude, for a project that investors, international investors, are expected to bring their monies into, there's this thing about putting your mouth where your money is. Putting your mouth where your money is. You're never going to have someone stay outside Nigeria and decide to fund a project of that level, and without actually having the access to that very area you designate for the seaport. So for all of the years we've been battling, we've been holding this conversation, pushing the conversations of having the conversation about having a seaport in Akwa Ibom State. Will it not shock you that in all of these years, it is only Governor Umo Eno that has now come to open the road to the seaport? So it means all of what we were saying about the seaport coming till this moment when the Unyange Road is currently under construction was just probably paperwork and clear theory, because it means that even the people who were discussing Ibaka, the seaport, people who were discussing about the seaport were actually talking about it from the books and from theoretical perspectives. This is the time where people have, in all of these years, found an unfettered access to the seaport. And then with the city gate, when you bring an investor, the investor would like to know what has been happening there and all of that. So the city gate could also help as a small holding area, a small administrative area for people who want to, even for prospects who want to go in there and find out where they can actually come into how they can actually get interested or get involved in that process. So it shows that now before now we're talking about the Ibom Deep Seaport, now there is a road to it, and the city gate to that seaport is actually in the works. So there has never been a more intentional effort at achieving that project than now.
All right, Mr. Ayara. Well, the governor has said over time and time again that he wants to be remembered as a governor who is interested in the rural communities and bringing them to the fore. Now, the argument also has been, is the governor going to be remembered for someone who only gives out handouts, or is he going to truly stand out when it comes to being able to have that legacy that he leaves behind that is truly an imprint? If you were to look at the successive administrations, they always have one thing or the other that they are known for. Do you think that the governor is on his way to creating that level of legacy?
Well, the governor isn't so big about monumental legacies. He has said it repeatedly that he wants to be known and remembered for the lives he touched, so that whenever people ask him what was your legacy, he should be able to point at the people and say the people. That's not foreclosing the fact that the governor is doing some very monumental development, is scoring very high on developmental strides, milestones. You will see the upcoming Ibom Specialist Hospital, Ibom International Hospital,
which of course raised some reactions also.
Yes, because now the reaction is that there has never been any idea, any developmental idea that didn't meet stiff opposition in this state, from the airport to Ibom hotels and even Ibom Air. Everything that is worthwhile met this level of agitation. People will always be there. If the government sets out to do a thing of that magnitude and then there are no people to fight against it, then I'll simply think it's not a bright idea. The brilliance of an idea is dependent on the number of people that rise against it. But also look at what's happening at the Rise Resort and all of what the government is doing. Look at the jetty terminal in Oron and see, you quite would understand that there are lots of things happening at the moment, and then the people alongside all of this infrastructure is being developed.
Right, just a minute, please. We need to connect with our correspondent, David Song, who is standing by in University of Uyo ground, where we understand that there is a protest ongoing there by members of ASU. David, you're welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, good afternoon, Xavier.
If you could quickly bring us up to speed with what is the true nature of things there at the university.
The actual, the national, they are protesting about a whole lot of issues, ranging from their entitlement to their promotion, a whole lot of issues. So, but I'm here with the actual chairman of University of Rio, Professor Opeyemi Olachibe. He's going to tell us exactly why the actual are protesting. Hello, Prof. Please, you're live on ADBN TV, Niger Delta. Why is actual protesting?
Thank you very much. As you're quite aware, in year 2022, also went on nationwide strike for 8 months. The salaries members were withheld. What actually caused that nationwide industrial strike was that for years, since 2009, that was the federal government federal government agreement, which border on our remuneration, and that agreement costs were being renegotiated 3 years after, and for 15 years that agreement have not been renegotiated. What I mean is that agreement, panel committee was set up, the agreement was was renegotiated, and federal government refused to sign and commence implementation of the renegotiated agreement. And we have been earning same salary since 2009, 15 years. And we went on strike in 2022. Salary was withheld, we were not paid for 8 months, and it was cost that actually stopped that strike. We returned. Our out of the 8 months with salary, only 4 months was paid. And that 4 months that was paid was not paid with top reduction. That is, people are saving. So that's why we're on strike. Okay. So, and then the agreement has not been signed as we speak now.
Okay. Is this a strike or a protest?
Go on, Xavier. Go on.
Hello. I'm asking, Professor, is this a strike or a protest? And how long are you supposed is this going to linger?
Okay, thank you very much. ASU declare a nationwide protest all across the branches of ASU today. The entire system is shut down. What do I mean by that is that no lecture, no examination, no statutory meetings across all the branches of ASU today to just express our displeasure of nonchalant disposition of government to the issue of completion of the negotiation of 2009 ASU federal government agreement. So nationwide, we shut down the system today, only today.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. We'll follow this up as much as possible and possibly get more insights regarding this particular issue across the university and with ASU. Thank you very much for speaking with us briefly.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're still having in the studio Mr. Ayara Samuel, who is the SA to the Akwa Ibom State Governor on new electronic media. I'd just like to take your parting shot at this point regarding this conversation as we begin to wind down.
Well, for me, the Arise Town Square meetings and empowerment series have come and gone. And then government has gotten all of what it requires for the 2026, most of what it requires as inputs for 2026 budget. So many of the citizens, at least that not less than 8,000 citizens, have been empowered through the Arise Town Square meetings in a way or the other. And my parting shot on this show would be, let's see the ripple effect of this investment government is making in the life of citizens in the coming weeks and months. People should plow this money for the right reasons in the right ventures that would bring trickling effect. And beyond that, let's continue supporting an administration that is prioritizing the people.
Thank you very much. I say to Akwa Ibom State Governor and Electronic Media, Mr. Samuel Ayara. We appreciate your views on the program.
It's always a delight.
Thank you for coming around.
Well, that's the size of Niger Delta today. Remember to join us again tomorrow for another fresh edition, God willing. My name is Xavier Robert, wishing you a terrific afternoon.
And I am Sifon Ode. Enjoy your day.